If you're going to be interviewing a guest on your YouTube show, you want to make sure that both of you have a microphone. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Maono AU200, which is a two-headed microphone that will plug into just about everything. First off, disclosure, they did give this to me for free in exchange for an honest review, and I am completely honest. I really like this microphone. Check it out. So of course, there's no reason to clip two microphones onto you, but if you are working with someone else, it's great to have a microphone close to both of your mouths. And I'm gonna go through kind of what I like about this microphone and what I don't like. And so there's kind of three big criteria that I use for lavalier microphones. And I've got another video about a whole bunch of lavalier microphones. There's probably a dot up there somewhere, you can check it out. But the first one is, how does it sound? Then how does it look? And lastly, how adaptable is it? So let me go through those points one by one with the Maono. So I'll be the first to admit that I am not an expert when it comes to being able to hear the difference in sound and fidelity and whatnot, but it sounds pretty good to me. And I'm just going to give you a couple of different examples here so that you can judge for yourself how it sounds. So this is a sample of the Maono AU200. Next up for comparison, we've got the two-headed microphone from Pop Voice. And I am recording all of these into my MacBook Pro, and this is the Fifine, so this is the USB lavalier. And finally, I just want to share what the sound is like just using the microphone on my MacBook Pro. So the second thing I'm looking for is, how does it look? And really what this is about, for the most part, is size. And you can see here that it's kind of a middle-sized lavalier microphone. I've removed the foam filter that's mostly for going outside and having wind blow across the microphone, and most things I do are inside. So that might matter if you're outside. How big is that black ball on top? So let's compare looks. So this is the Audio-Technica 3350, which I'm using right now. As you can see, the Audio-Technica is a slightly smaller microphone. The SmartLav Plus, if you're familiar with that one, I have that in the other video. That's kind of the smallest that they get. That's kind of like the gold standard. And so this one is kind of, it's a little bit higher up. But let me show you the Pop Voice, which is another dual-headed lavalier. So that's what this guy looks like. So you can see the Pop Voice is even bigger. And you can see the Fifine USB microphone is also larger than the Maono. So my last criteria is adaptability. How many devices does it work with? And this is the only microphone that I have found so far that works straight out of the box with everything that I own, from my iPhone to my DSLR. This is a Vixia camcorder. It's been hard to find something that works directly with this, into my Macintosh, my MacBook. So lots of ability for this thing to work with different devices. And really what's going on is this little piece here. It's got a hearing aid battery inside and a little switch on it, which turns the power on and off for the battery, but also switches up how the wiring works inside so that it can be configured for different devices. So for the most part, off is for your smartphone and on is for many other devices, but you can give it a try. And it's obvious when it's on and off. I would love it if they did have a little red in there showing you that this device is on. It'd be a little easier to see that you'd left the battery on. But this is really, pretty convenient. I mean, the other thing is you have to make sure that you don't destroy the battery by leaving it on all the time. So you have to have a backup battery. But, it's much easier than other ones that have an adapter. This just plugs into whatever you plug into, and then you switch the switch back and forth, versus losing an adapter. And that's something I'm really bad at, losing stuff. This comes with one adapter for a 1/4-inch plug that would go in here, and I had that just 5 minutes ago and I've already lost it. So like I mentioned, this guy works with my iPhone straight out of the box. I can plug it into the side of my computer, into my DSLR. The camcorder here, my Zoom H4n. So I haven't found anything so far that I cannot plug this into and get good sound from. So something that's not on my overall list for judging lavaliers is cable management. But when you've got things that have a long cable, I think this is close to, close to 20 feet long of cable. And it's in two pieces. The first is the piece from the camera to that little battery device, and then there's two pieces that split off from there. And the two pieces that split off are about 5 or 6 feet long, and that first part's about 15 feet long. So that means there's a lot of cable that you're going to deal with, and it's really easy just to turn into a tangled mess. But they have included these little strips of Velcro on here, which is nice because you can tie up your cables and just put the Velcro around them. I mean, it's easy enough to add this stuff, but it's great that they put it right in the box with it so you can do some cable management. The Pop Voice doesn't have that, and it just turns into a mess with all the different cables or all the length of cable that's in there. You know, that is something to note is that there is, like I said, about 15 feet to the point of the splitter. And on the Pop Voice, it's got about 20 feet of cord total, so the same distance total, except on the Pop Voice, it splits right at the camera. So you could effectively have someone 20 feet that way and then have someone 20 feet that way, and they can be both mic'd up. Whereas with this, they can only be a few feet apart. Another downside, and this is just how iPhones work and how many of these devices work, is it's not stereo. So it's not recording channel A separate from channel B. The beauty with that would be if you've got someone who's really loud, you could turn down their volume and you could turn up the volume of the quieter person. That's not how this works. The only way you can deal with it is just to kind of move the microphone a little bit further away from the mouth of the loud person and closer to the mouth of the quiet person. But that's not the fault of this microphone. That's kind of the fault of how devices seem to work. Now, I gotta say, when I was testing this, I had this plugged into my computer and I have an aftermarket power cord plugged in, and I got some hum. And so I scrapped this video. I was recording this video a week ago, and I was like, oh no, I missed something. So I've been doing a bunch of testing, and I haven't been able to reproduce that hum. I've tried different power cords, so maybe it just has something to do with the outlet I was using, and I couldn't test to see if it was not there with other microphones. But I'm not hearing it now. But just something I wanted to throw out there just to be completely transparent is I did hear a hum at one point. It's probably something that could have been cleaned up in post, but obviously it's better not to have the hum in the first place. So if you own a dual-headed lavalier microphone that you really like, mention that down in the comments below so that people can see kind of the options that are out there. Also, if you have any questions, leave those down below. I love helping people. Mostly I work with coaches, authors, and speakers, helping them use YouTube and online video. I'd love to help you too. So you can click up here to subscribe to this channel, or you can click down here to see one of those other lavalier videos, the one that's comparing all the different lavaliers. You can check that one out down here.